We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show.
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Good day.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about how to buy land for less than it's worth.
What?
Right before we started, Jill said, I love this topic. I'm quoting her. I do too.
I do too.
That's why we're all here.
Have we met?
What's better than buying real estate cheap and selling it for more really fast?
Funny.
There's like 2 or 3 things in this planet that are better than that. And that's for a much different show, probably a different audience.
Different age, different label, whatever that is. I don't know what it is. Rating. Got it. Okay.
Half the people listening to this are saying to themselves, oh, I hope this is a funny show. And the other half are saying, will you guys just get to it, please? Because I really do want to know how to buy cheap land.
I hope it's a funny show.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Anne asks, I am interested in others' views on this topic. To what extent is it our responsibility as sellers to fully understand the buyer's purpose in buying land? Okay. I'm sorry. I have to pause right there.
Could you
imagine if everyone, hi, excuse me, I need to know how you're going to drive this vehicle.
I was going to say the same thing. Are you sure you want to buy a 2-door cabriolet?
Exactly.
You look more like a minivan type person to me.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think you should get in that McLaren. I don't think you can handle it. And then what's better was the guy who tried to put me in a slower vehicle.
Remember that?
Yeah, that was a mistake on his part.
You look like a 6-cylinder kind of girl, not an 8-cylinder kind of girl.
Oh, that was a wrong thing.
I had a lot to say to that guy.
This is so funny. Okay, so moving on. Obviously, Anne wrote, some buyers simply check out online without asking any questions. Side note, that's the dream. You did everything right. For those who have questions, obviously we answer as honestly as we can, and we also direct them to call planning and zoning, etc., to make sure they can use the land as they plan to. This is all the right stuff. Some sellers also choose to give a 30, 60, 90-day refundable period. What happens then if after 6 or 7 months, the buyer comes to you and says, I found out I can't use the land that I intended to. For example, there is less water than they thought. In this case, the buyer paid cash and the property's in their name. Another property has the same issue and the buyer is on terms. There is an element of wanting happy customers. There's also an element of buyers who are adults and need to do their own due diligence. Does anyone have any thoughts on how this could be managed? Thank you to all.
Well, it turns out I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I'm going to let Jill go first.
So wait. I was waiting for it. I like your stuff. So, well, I mean, number one, you're on the right path as far as, we put everything we can in the posting. We say everything we know about the properties in the posting. And we also, want to, if we can answer their questions, we do. And if not, we point to the right resources. This is all correct and perfect. What you never want to do is sell someone a property and say, oh, you can park an RV for a year there, when A, you don't know, or B, you know they can't. Never lie and do that, because that's just not the right way to do business. It will come back. Or it could come back. Doesn't matter. Anyway, what's so funny?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Either way, you're on the line. I always want happy customers, and even down the road, I'm going to try to work it out with them. But there is an element of, it's a sweet spot. I'm not going to refund everything on the planet, but I'm also going to do everything I can to make sure that they are getting what they want, if that makes sense. And at the end of the day, if there's some really major flaws that I missed or something like that, I'm going to do my best to solve it. I don't want anybody out there really unhappy with their purchase. And I'll swap a property, refund it, whatever I have to do sometimes you have to undo it and get the deed back. And they might have to pay for that, by the way. If something happened with them and now they changed their mind for whatever reason and I did absolutely nothing wrong, and they're adamant we can't work it out or something, I'll be like, fine, all right, here's what it's going to cost to put it back in my name. You're going to have to do this, 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 and this, to make it worth my while, almost like a restocking fee, if you will, and because there are fees involved, recording fees. I've got to repost the property. I put a lot of work into this, and that's fair. And I'm going to make sure that we work it out fairly.
Here's the stats on this refund business for land in general on the internet. You can expect for about every 100 properties that you sell through normal channels like Craigslist, classified ads, land and farm, all of that stuff. I'm talking about non-eBay channels, maybe 1 or 2 per 100-ish, maybe 3 if you're having a bad run. On eBay, I think it's a little bit higher, maybe 5 for 100. So we're not talking about a normal situation. What's really happening here is this person changed their mind, or they had a life event change and they just want their money back. Maybe they need the money. And so the vast majority of the times that this has happened to us, we usually try to replace the property first. Mm-hmm. And we also usually charge a doc prep fee of about $400 per transaction to get the deeds, just to deal with the whole thing. Because there's a lot of stuff involved. We charge that. Mm-hmm. on a either a redeed, because they have to deed it back. But whenever anybody asks me something to do something that I don't want to do or that I think's unfair, the first thing that I say is, I'm happy to listen to you, and I do understand your point of view, and I want to meet you. I want to resolve this with you. Mm-hmm. I need these 3 things from you. I do it with our kids all the time. I need you to write an essay about why you think you need an Xbox. And you know what? They never do it.
And
it's the same thing.
You don't ask me to do that.
Same thing with refunds. I would never pull that stuff
Jill,
on you.
I need you to write an essay on why you want those earrings.
I never ask.
Can you imagine? Because I would.
I love buying earrings, by the way.
Thank you. That would be so funny.
People so now you're not saying no. You're saying, hey, I really do want to resolve this, but I need you to fill out this form because there's a deed scenario that happens with this, this, and this. It's going to cost you $400, and we're real stocked up right now, or stacked up from a time standpoint. So does next Thursday work for you? Oh, no, I got it. And then the vast majority of the time, it just goes away. So is it a little sneaky? Yeah. I don't think it's unfair, though. I don't think it's unfair to ask somebody to travel down this resolving it path. After all, they didn't make a good decision. So, but like the writer says, Anne, I guess, she's handling it the right way. Her attitude's the right way. I do want to resolve this. I understand customer service. She's not sticking her middle finger up saying, you lost.
Right. So I think that's the point here. To end it on this is, the point is, you don't need to go over and above and make sure. Are you sure you want it? Are you sure you want it? Sign this waiver. Are you sure you want it? Here's my refund policy. Are you sure about that? You don't need to do any of that stuff, kind of thing. Just let the system work itself out. You do your best, trust in them, and then come at them like, hey, let's solve this together. And 99% of the time it works out great.
Jill and
they understand. They'll get it too. Like think about it, the tables were turned, not to interrupt you, but to imagine, okay. You did, it could happen. We buy property too. And I go, shucks, I missed it. I thought I had access, whatever it is. You want to work it out too and be a happy purchaser.
The bigger picture is this. There's pros and cons to being an owner and working in your company and dealing directly with your customers. In the beginning of your career, they're all pros and no cons, in my opinion, until you learn the business. So the pro is, in this situation, you're dealing directly with the customer and you're going to resolve it. Mm-hmm. And you're learning, and the whole thing's real positive, and the customer's going to end up with a positive experience. And it's very profitable when you do the numbers on it. The way that, if Jill and I often think this to myself, we have all these companies and all these people working for us, and it's all beautiful and everybody's happy, but
oh, it's always peachy. Everything's beautiful. Everybody's happy every single day.
I just often think if Jill and I went off in some room somewhere and I bought some property and she sold it, and we've the stuff we know. I know. But we haven't done it like
in a while.
Yeah, always. We have assistants and all kinds of stuff. But if we actually said, you know what? I only want to do 1 or 2 deals a month. Mm-hmm. We're going to make them count. I'm going to do the buy side, you do the sell side. We would make $2 or $3 million a year. Yep. Just on a couple deals a month. So that's a real positive thing in Anne's situation. because we can completely control the customer experience to a positive degree or a negative degree, both on the acquisition side and on the sell side. And it doesn't, I don't think we would work 2 or 3 hours a day max in that whole thing.
Well, this ties into the show.
Yeah. Today's topic, that's Jill's nice way of saying, let's get on with it.
Totally.
Today's topic, how to buy land for less than it's worth. This is the meat of the show. How do
Well,
you
you
buy?
just did it. You just described it.
Go ahead.
Go into a room. You work on the buy stuff. I work on the sell stuff. Next.
How do you buy land for less than it's worth? May I?
Please.
REACH. This is that moment, if you're taking this seriously, where you pull the car over and really think about this, or however you're ingesting this. Get a pen out. Everybody criticizes me about the pen and the pencil thing.
I know.
Put it in your phone. I guess that's the way to do it. However you take notes, if you reach enough potential people who purchase property, or I mean, who own property on the acquisition side, and you do it the way that we teach, by sending blind offers that are priced correctly, you will get a very predictable and accurate result. If you reach 3,000 people, you're going to buy 2 or 3 or 4 properties at least, maybe more, at the numbers that you want. And then on the sell side, it's the exact same thing. REACH. Reach the correct people, using Neighbor Scoop or whatever tools that you need to use. Facebook groups, there's a million places that you can post these properties and sell them. If you reach the correct number of people and you have it priced right, it's going to sell very quickly.
Ding, ding. I was going to add that. That was the second part.
And it's not a piece of crap.
It's price.
It can't be a piece of crap property.
That's true. Because that's true. You came up with that years ago. If it's there's only two reasons why things don't sell. Same thing with the buying. It's got to be priced right, and you got to reach the right people. Got to reach the right seller. You got to reach the right buyer. And you have to have it priced right. And so how do we do it? Like you just said, we send out mail. It's priced well. But there's one more thing too. It's not just we sit back and let it do it. We are those people. How do I say this? To that seller, we make the transaction easy and clear and fun and nice, and we follow through and we pay on time. I mean, those things are important too. When a person calls us back, they get their offer, they call us back, they're like, all right, I got this offer. This sounds crazy. Thinking about selling though, but they want to see who's on the other end of the phone. That could make or break the deal right there. If you're an ogre or a jerk, or it goes to Google Voice and it's just your generic message, that might stop that seller and that might keep you from buying a lot of good land.
I mean, you're probably sitting there saying some version of yourself, unless you're already in the business. If you're already in the business, you do know that this is how you do it. If you're not in the business already, you're probably saying, that's great, guys. You make it sound so easy. It can't be that easy. Why isn't everybody doing it? And here's why. You have to have the right mindset and the right, what I think, skill set and attitude to bring into this.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, you need to have you have to have a picture perfect data source.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know who owns these properties and the statistics surrounding these properties. Turns out the assessor database has everything you need for land to price it correctly and get the mail out correctly. So you need these tools. You need tools and resources, most of which, not all of which, Jill and I provide, only because that's the ones we use. Exactly. These are the resources we use, and we just decided a few years ago to make them available. So it's imperative that you choose the right market to send these offers after doing research, because you really feel confident you can sell the property before you even go in there to try to buy it. I'm not going to get all technical because Jill would just stop me anyway.
I would. And you're welcome.
Is this too technical anyway?
No, you're fine.
You need data. You need a great place, a printer that understands your business, not a commercial printer that prints catalogs for LL Bean or something. You need to be in a social environment or in a peer group like landinvestors.com who understands this stuff, because stuff goes wrong and sideways, just like what Ann asked that question today. And then you need some serious motivation. You have to want to get rich, and you'll do anything to do it. And we don't talk about that enough.
We should.
Because that is the single number one thing that stops people from doing this or anything else.
Exactly.
Just getting sidetracked or lack of motivation. Oh, you guys made it sound so easy, and I tried it, and I had to do some work. Really? You had to do some work?
Yeah. Gee, imagine that.
You're going to work anyway doing work.
Right.
Why not work on some stuff that's going to pay out?
I agree. That was perfect. Happy you could join us today. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're right here on the Land Academy Show. Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can catch us on the House Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the House Academy show is called Surprise, Surprise, How to Buy a House for Less Than It's Worth and Sell It for More. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. It's surprising, but it's very different.
There was a
Buying
long
land.
pause. What was that
Oh.
long pause for?
I don't know.
Is it for, there was an effect there? You were going for something?
No, it wasn't a fact. It was probably like, no, I'm sure it was some type of personality flaw that I have, Joe.
That might be. I'll add that to the list.
You're an expert on that.
I am not.
Yeah, sure. One of my personality flaws.
Oh, come on. That's not nice. Silly. The Land Academy Show remains commercial free for you, our loyal listener. So wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, please subscribe and rate us there.
We
are
are Steve and Jill.
and
Information
inspiration.
to buy undervalued property.